Morning. Today is Saturday, April 22nd. Laundry day, as you can tell. Yesterday was the 4th of my 5 infusions. Oh man, I'm there. So close. So it was interesting. We went over some of the side effects that I deal with every single time. And I brought up the fact to the nurse practitioner that the one side effect that's been consistent is the neuropathy, that sensitivity to cold for the first few days, and then this cold sensitivity slowly wanes, and then I have a general numbingness, not so bad in my toes, but it does happen. And I explained to her that my job is I get to go see crappy pools. I only see crappy pools. Nobody ever calls me to come and see their beautiful pools, ever. So by virtue of that, I'm testing lots of pool water, and that pool water can get really cold. Thus, if I end up with neuropathy for the rest of my life, I'm going to have an issue. So she understood that, and what they did is they said the oxaliplatin is the main cause of the neuropathy, and what they did is last time initially they had me 100%. Last time they knocked it down 10%. This time they knocked it down to 25%, which is 75% of the full dosage for all us math geniuses. So she also mentioned that that the magnesium oxide that wreaked havoc on my system the first time I took it probably wasn't a good idea to be given to me at that point, so not my fault. So anyway, she recommended another thing. In the meanwhile, I bunched up on some other stuff that I'd like to eat that helped get that magnesium back up. Bananas being one of the main culprits. Just hadn't had any for a while, hadn't seen them for a while. So I've been stocking up on bananas, and that brought that magnesium level back up. Those levels are all good now, whereas the magnesium was just a little bit low, which is why they gave it to me in the first place. So screwed around and bought some magnesium gummies too. Haven't taken those either, just out of that fear of, that was no fun, man. That was no fun. As opposed to this week, a lot of fun this week. The Monday, Tuesday was okay. I mean, Tuesday I had let's see what happened Monday. Good gravy. I know that Tuesday I had a meeting up in Anaheim with my direct boss. So that was a little bit of a road trip, 2 hours there, hour and a half back, 2-hour meeting. So that was, typical. The one thing about Friday, I had a pool inspection on Friday or Thursday in LA, in Brentwood to be specific, where OJ lives. Matter of fact, I passed like right at the corner where his house is on Bundy, or house was on Bundy. Creepy. Anyway, did that pool inspection. I left here at 6:15, got there at 9:30. Only stopped. I never stopped, so went directly there. 3 hours and some odd, 3 hours 15. Typical first thing in the morning. 2-hour inspection. On my way back home, I was expecting 3 hours. Got back to Carlsbad, Oceanside / Carlsbad, which is about 45 minutes from where I live. And wouldn't you know that there was somebody that pulled a gun on a couple of cops or stole a car. Some lady went nuts, stole a car, an Uber or some sort of ride-share car, took it on the freeway, was being chased by the cops. Cops finally stopped her. She had a knife, and just long and short, they closed down the freeway. And afternoon in California on the Interstate 5 coming into San Diego for the freeway to be closed is a mess. It's a nightmare. It's ridiculous. Golly, it was. So the 5 is about, depending on where in the 5 you are, max is maybe a mile, 3/4 of a mile from the water. So and then the other side, the inland side, is all lots of freeway businesses stuff. So you had a choice if you wanted to sit in traffic amongst a bunch of buildings and watch all that traffic come and go from lunch and then honk at you because they're going to be late for lunch because some knucklehead lost their bacon on the freeway and just kind of started losing her mind. She pulled a gun on the police. Not a gun, a knife on the police. It's crazy. Or instead of going that route, you can take the coast route and go down the coast, look at the water, watch the surfers. That's a route I took. So much more relaxing, but it added another hour to my trip. Meanwhile, by the time I got back to Mira Mesa, where my office is near, had to stop in the office there and check in there. It was was a long road trip nightmare. The funny thing is, the neighborhood we live in is getting really congested, like really congested, and it's even worse in the afternoons. So anyway, that's my long diatribe on my Thursday traffic. Friday was infusion. Typical day. No, not necessarily. Typical started out typically. Got to the office, checked in at 7:30, got in to get the port. I've got a couple of pictures coming up. Got in, got the port all set up, and went in to see the doctor, which is how we came up with the magnesium situation we were talking about. She was super awesome. I love her. I'm so lucky. Everybody that I've dealt with at Sharp has just been amazing. Just amazing people. They're wonderful. They're nice. You can understand them. They explain it to me. So cool. Anyhow, so got from there and went over to we're waiting for the infusion center. So it was a half-hour delay in seeing this particular MP, medical practitioner, nurse practitioner. She wasn't Dr. Cozen's. She was Dr. Cozen's helper, basically, but knew everything she had to know. She's an oncologist, everything. Awesome, I trust her. But that was a half-hour delay from the first time. Usually I see her at 8, and then this time we saw her at 8:30. After that was done, went over to check in at the infusion center to get all hooked up to the machine to get my port in, and that's where the train stopped. So some of their equipment was off, wasn't working. They had to use an outside pharmacy because every time they do an infusion for you, depending on where your blood work is, when they take your blood work in the morning, they will adjust your dosage for your infusion. And like I said, the magnesium was good, and they were going to bring down the overall dosage to 75% of what it normally should be. So they custom make that bag every time of your medication. Anyhow, that being said, the place where they normally make that stuff on site at Sharp Memorial wasn't working, so they had to send it to another pharmacy, a specialty pharmacy, to get it done here in town. And on top of it, they were short-staffed. There were some people that weren't there that day that should have been there. I don't know if they called in or it was a protest. I have no idea what. Doubt it was a protest because there was nobody in front of the building. Just being funny. Called in sick. Who knows why, but they were short-handed. Plus, they had a backup, obviously, of people trying to get in. So now they had a backlog of people, short-handed, and new pharmacy recipe for disaster. What's crazy is I got chair 18, which I've never seen before. It's way in the back, so they have the main infusion room, and I'll show you the chair in the pictures. It's just the one little chair for the massage chair with the heat, and the one little chair for Joelle, and that's it. And a curtain. It's like an exam room that they made into a infusion booth. So there's not much privacy. There's no walls that are up. Usually there are 2 glass walls, and the curtain is all curtains. So we were in there alone at first, like, cool, this is awesome. I can go without my mask. Awesome. So 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, another family comes in, and they sit them on the other side of this particular little center, which is maybe 20 feet from usually about the depth of your living room. One end to the other end, about 20, 25 feet. And this lady could talk. Oh my God. Oh. And we could kind of feel it in the first few minutes, just everything. You could tell she'd been there a million times. She'd been in Infusion for a while. But kind of barking orders at the staff and knowing a little bit too more, making sure she let them know that she knew what she was doing. There's so many words, so many words. I'm fairly patient, but I don't know about you guys, but a lot of chatty Cathys and talk-a-lots just gets old after a while, and then on the know-it-alls on top of it, hoo-wee, that was painful. We were there 3 hours yesterday, just in that infusion center. Got out an hour later than normal. And then another family came in, and they were cool, so we put on our little, earbuds and listen to music and tune that out. But had we not tuned that out, that would have been a little frustrating. Plus, Joelle's got her stack of, 400, 500 flashcards. She has a test today. Oh, Jojo, knock on wood, baby. That she was reviewing. So trying to review those with all the noise. Usually it's fairly quiet in there, but talk a lot, chatty Cathy, know-it-all lady over there just made it longer and more distracting. So she got through it and we got through it. It's no big deal. It didn't ruin anybody's day. Good Lord. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot happening. Again, like every time, neuropathy. Not as sensitive to cold this morning. Brushing my teeth and getting ready for the morning, getting laundry in. Usually I'll get a couple of zaps here and there. That didn't happen yet. So I'm thinking that just because they knocked it down a little bit, not as much as the indigestion I normally get, but again, that's from the steroid. Cool. I mean, my energy level today from 1 to 10 would be, just this morning, normally it would be about a 6. I'm pretty much about a 7 or 8, somewhere around there. I'm good. The bummer that I'm going to miss out on today, Joelle's got, like I said, she's got her test. She's going to be gone for a few hours. But the big thing today is Chicano Park Day, which is in Barrio Logan, which is tons of food, tons of music, everything, lowriders, just shopping, everything. It's a wonderful, wonderful day of just raza, people out there just hanging out. It's fun. It's a fun day, and I'm going to miss it. Just like I said, I can't be around a big group of people, even if it's outside in that sort of instance, just asking for trouble. So, not going. It's a bummer. I'll go next year. But just hanging around today. It's going to be gorgeous. Yesterday was 80. Today's supposed to be 78. And there I am on the couch. Noonan. Anyhow, thanks, guys. Have a good day. Take care of each other. Thanks for all the thoughts and prayers and all the good vibes. It feels good. Saw you last week, Will. You're looking good, brother. Onward, baby.